Well, here we are, Monday, June 8th. I am going to try and wrap up our Portugal, Spain trip because it has been 7 months, close to 7 months since our trip. And, excuse me, well, we are planning another trip, so I thought maybe I should probably wrap this one up, see how I can do. I do have notes. I did make myself notes. So I'm hoping that I can stick to these notes and perhaps, I remember the pictures from them. It's going to be very, very short and sweet. It'll be probably mostly pictures. And this is basically for me, Ian, and Elsa if she wants to look at it, because I suspect that nobody else is going to be interested in this babbling that I have. I did do an earlier one, so I do have the earlier part of our trip in Portugal. And then the rest of this is probably going to be mostly Spain. So, to start. So, we ended with the boat cruise, the solar boat cruise, solar-powered boat cruise. And now I can't remember if we... I think we ended up staying in Faro that night, and then we headed out the next day, and we went to well, we did go to the Bone Chapel, which was an interesting experience, and we had it was it I can't remember now if it was a rainy day. It was wet, I think. This is going to be such a babbling thing because I'm not going to remember everything. This is a horrible idea. I should have done this earlier. But anyway, here it goes. We did go to, yes, we went to the Bone Chapel. And here are some pictures of the Bone Chapel. Here's our neighborhood for the last couple of days. Not bad. Pretty good, eh? It looks like another lovely day today. And there's Ian birding and having his coffee. And this little guy has been hanging around us. I think he gets treats. Oh, you're going to fall off the wall. But there isn't anybody else around except us, so no treats today, little fella. And then we went on a trail. One of the residents, or one of the locals, told us about this trail that had some birds on it. And Ian's target bird for this holiday was a flamingo. So we were looking for flamingos, and he saw flamingos way off in the distance, but he did see them. And one of the things about this was that Paul was very, very present in a lot of stuff, in most of the stuff that we did on this holiday. But he seemed to be extremely present at on this little trail. And yeah, so it felt good. It felt good to have him along with us. So yeah, so I'll try to find a picture of this Ludo trail and post it. And then the next day, we drove from Lisbon to Trebujena, which was a little town, and I mean a little town in Spain. It was a very, very long trip, but with having I don't drive when I hate driving, so I'm not the driver. Elsa and Ian did all the driving. Elsa's a fabulous navigator, and so we got there, and we got to the cottage. It was a little cottage. It was all done solar powered, and oh gosh, what was the name of our host? Oh, do I have it? Do I have it? Hold on. Sorry, no, I don't. I could ask Elsa. She probably will remember. Anyway, it was a beautiful spot. It was in a vineyard. It was a family vineyard. Of course, there was nothing there because it was November, except for stalks of grapevine stalks. But you could tell that it was going to be it would be a beautiful area to be in, and it was lovely to be there. One of the issues was that being very ignorant about solar-powered anything, we left lights on, and that the first night, and the second day we woke up with no power. So Elsa contacted the host, and he very graciously brought us a generator, and he said we would have to wait until the battery powered up again. So we headed into town, into a Trebujena, to have breakfast. Now, absolutely nobody speaks English, and our Spanish was pretty mediocre. But we managed to have a wonderful coffee. The ladies in the cafe tried to be so helpful, and maybe it was that we were trying as well, like our silly Spanish. We were trying our darndest to speak Spanish to them, and I think maybe they appreciated that. But they were very nice. Fabulous coffee, fabulous coffee. We had a couple or maybe three. And then some breakfast. And by the time we got back to the cottage, most of the power was back on. So we got ourselves ready to head out. And we headed out to, where did we go? We went to Cadiz. Our first stop out of Portugal. We aren't quite out of Portugal yet, but our first stop is for some gas. Elsa's cleaning the windshield. I am in the back seat because Ian and Elsa are doing a terrific job of mapping and driving. Not me. We're crossing the bridge into España. So there we are. Do we know what the name of this bridge is? No? Okay. Wow. Yes, and it rained. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. And it did. Excuse me. But we had a great time anyway. We found ourselves in a see, I don't have it written down exactly where it was, but it was a Roman ruin, an ancient Roman ruin, and we toured that, and we went and had lunch. Now, was that where I think that's where we had the traditional Spanish cheese sandwich type of thing. So yeah, so that was probably not the best thing for me, but I did take my Lactaid, so I was popping Lactaid and stuff, and I felt a little bloaty, but not too bad. Not too bad. That these when people say they go to Europe and they eat pasta and they eat bread and whatever, and they don't have too many symptoms of gluten puffiness and whatever, it's true. And Elsa as well. I mean, she's more gluten intolerant than I am. And yeah, it was amazing. I felt a little, I think it might have been the cheese, maybe. There's too much dairy. But yeah, it was, and I mean, how can you not go to Europe and not eat the bread? Come on, people, right? And then that night, we found ourselves in downtown Cadiz, I believe. We almost got ourselves arrested because we ended up driving in on a piazza. And these people came racing out from the restaurant saying, you can't park, you can't drive, you can't park here, you can't park here. $2,000 euro fine, blah, 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 blah. But then the streets are this big, so it's hard to find parking. And of course, being tourists, you don't know where to go. But anyway, we did find, after roaming around, I don't know how many times, we finally did find parking. And we ended up back at the restaurant that these people had come out of to tell us, no parking, no parking. So anyway, so we went back there and we had tapas for supper. Ian got his picture taken with one of the last bulls that was slaughtered in their what are they called? What are they called again? And then we managed to get ourselves back home and had another good night's sleep. Got up. We knew about the solar power, so we didn't leave lights on that night. So we got up, we had coffees, we had breakfast. I think that was that the morning? I think that was the morning that Elsa made us all eggs and toast and stuff, which is good. And then we went to Alcalá de los Gazules. Excuse my Spanish. Rained again, like really, really, really rained. And we wanted to check out. It's called the White Town, and we did, and we managed to find ourselves another nice little restaurant, and it was closed, but it was closed for meals, but it was two lovely young fellas that were still there, and they gave us. We had we had a nice coffee, and some pastries, and that seemed to keep us going for a little while. And then the next day we went to Espera. Lovely, beautiful, beautiful little town. Lots of bougainvillea, lemon trees, orange trees, all those types of things. Went through another castle, went and wandered around in yet another castle. There's no lack of castles to wander around in Spain, that's for sure. And then, excuse me, we found ourselves, I guess it must have been downtown Espera. And of course we were hungry and we needed some lunch. So we found ourselves a little restaurant, pub type of thing. And all the senors were there. Hey, Arcos de la Frontera, that's where it was. We had lunch there, Arcos de la Frontera. And all the senors were out and hanging around up front, and they were inside, and they were drinking their wine, and they were chatting away. And these three tourists come wandering in. Of course, we all got looked at, but then they just carried on with their conversations. And we went and sat in a corner, and we had I forget what we had. We had something for lunch. It was something very basic, a very basic sandwich or something. But it was kind of neat to see all the seniors hanging around out front. And then the next day, we went to Espera. Lovely, beautiful, beautiful little town. Lots of bougainvillea, lemon trees, orange trees, all those types of things. Went through another castle, went and wandered around in yet another castle. There's no lack of castles to wander around in Spain, that's for sure. And then, excuse me, we found ourselves, I guess it must have been downtown Espera. And of course we were hungry and we needed some lunch. So we found ourselves a little, little restaurant, pub type of thing. And all the seniors were there. Hey, Arcos de la Frontera, that's where it was. We had lunch there, Arcos de la Frontera. And all the seniors were out and hanging around up front, and they were inside, and they were drinking their wine, and they were chatting away. And these three tourists come wandering in. Of course, we all got looked at, but then they just carried on with their conversations. And we went and sat in a corner, and we had... I forget what we had. We had something for lunch. It was something very basic, a very basic sandwich or something. But it was kind of neat to see all the seniors hanging around out front. So then it was time to head back to Lisbon because we were flying back. We were flying home out of Lisbon. So we get in the car, we get our GPS out. I start looking stuff up and I said, oh my gosh, they've been having floods in Faro and we had to drive through Faro. Roads were closed. People were out of their houses. It was a disaster. We had no idea. Anyway, we get in the car. I think we went online and we looked at how to get around it and whatever. And yeah, we figured out how to get around it. And we stopped in, I think it was called Evora. I can read my writing here. Evora. We went around. We went around Faro and we went through a little place called Evora that had ancient Roman ruins. I mean, these places are just absolutely amazing. I am always just so in awe. I don't even think that in awe is the word for it. Of all of this history, I would be nuts if I lived somewhere that there was so much of this history. Anyway, so we did that. We walked around. I guess it was Evora. We walked around, and we had a lunch at this place called Mementos, and it was a little tiny restaurant off of the main stretch of downtown, or the courtyard, and I can't remember now if they were an Indian couple, or it was a dad and a daughter, or if I can't remember now, but it was a little expensive. But it was very pleasant. We were the only people in the restaurant. It was a very small restaurant. The daughter couldn't speak English very well, but Dad could, and he didn't mind telling you all about his food and whatever, which was great because now we knew what we were eating. And Yes, it was one of these types of places that you got, you know, your meal was like, you know, this big. But you know what? That was fine because it was lunch and we we were fine for that. So yes, so okay, so I'm just trying to just give me a second here. Right. So we got back to Lisbon. We found our hotel not too badly. We stayed at the Ibis Hotel, and we decided we'd. Oh yes, Ian and Elsa took the car back to the hotel, and I guess took a cab back, and that took quite a long time. And by the time they were back, we decided we were just going to eat supper in the Ibis Hotel, and supper was extremely delicious. And I had these little burgers. They were just like sliders. They were sliders, and that was just enough for me, and they were delicious. So all in all, it was a fantastic visit. And I'm hoping that I can figure out pictures to put in here that will do it justice. I've gone through my gallery, and I still got the pictures from the holiday, obviously, and I just hope that I can figure out where to put them, that they will make sense, and if they don't make sense, I apologize. But I just hope that if you're going to look at this, that you just enjoy the pictures. And Susan, Ian, if the pictures don't make sense, just enjoy them, okay? Don't worry about if they sit in the right spots or not. Just enjoy the pictures.